Welcome to this review of the all-new BMW 1 Series. Today with a smaller engine, because so far we've driven the M135i with all-wheel drive. This one here, the new front-wheel driven platform, today with front-wheel drive only and this smaller engine. Everything you need to know about the new 1 Series in exterior, interior and the driving experience, and some comparison to some competitors and also to the model we've driven so far in Full HD, full screen and full length on Autogefühl. Let's go! In the front here, the new face with the big BMW double kidney here with chrome frame around. This one is the Sport line, so already some sportier parts as for the visual stuff, also in the lower area and so on. It would start with halogen lamps as for the base model. Optional, you can get LEDs. Those ones are even the adaptive LEDs, which move a little bit then at dark, in darkness. It's really helpful. And again, with modern daylight signature, this is very beautifully done. And also they are way more horizontally drawn. And the car is also 3 centimeters wider, so indeed it has a bigger stance on the road. Although the front hood, you can maybe already see it here, is shorter than before because they moved it here to transverse mounted engine only and also front-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive platform. Well, of course, you can still get all-wheel drive models if you like. Well, I said it's 3 centimeters or about an inch wider, but here the length is approximately the same, 4 meters 32, 14 foot 2 or 170 inches. So hasn't changed much here as for the comparison predecessor and this one then. Wheels come from 16 to 19 inch. Those ones are 17 inch. I think it's a good compromise between comfort and already a nice look. Here, of course, with winter tires, the wheels look always a little bit smaller. With summer tires, they would look bigger. Then some Vortex generators here at the side mirror pads. Mineral gray is the color for today. And we also have today those black frames around the windows. Here in the Sport line, you could also get them in chrome if you want a more elegant look. Compact hatch style, definitely. Dropping line here, dividing in light and shadow just under the door handles, and you can see again how short the front hood has become. Design was in the side profile. Other than that, it's not too big of a difference. Hofmeister King design element right here at the rear, and yeah, quite some nice strong shoulders also in this place. In the rear, I think the car really gained in this generation because here the tail lamps, they are drawn horizontally, looks a little bit sportier. Then again, black design element in the Sport line in the lower part, and although this one here is a smaller engine, real exhaust pipes and indeed on each side, and that's a nice and honest design as well. As for suspensions, by the way, you get a base suspension, then you can get an M fixed sport suspension 10 millimeters lower, or an adaptive suspension. The latter one we also have built here today. What about engines? So far we have a petrol side 118i, 1.5 liter 3-cylinder petrol engine, 140 horsepower. Then the M135i, 2 liter 4-cylinder with 306 horsepower. Then on the diesel side, 1.5 liter 3-cylinder 116D with 116 horsepower. Then you have the 2 liter 4-cylinder diesels, 118D, the one here today, with 150 horsepower. And the 120D with 190 horsepower. Small engines, so the 3 cylinders are mated to either 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DCT, dual clutch transmission by Magna. And the bigger ones are then 8-speed converter automatic gearbox by Ajlan, so for the 4 cylinders, and the big horsepower specs always come with those. Yay! And unlike in the Golf 8, we still have hydraulic struts here to keep that hood open. Now to the interior with soft touch at the inside of the doors in the top part, also in the lower part at the armrests. So nice build quality. They've stepped up the game there massively. Also here with the galvanized inside Hofmeister King door handle, really nice, and reasonable space for your bottles as well. BMW entry badge, and this one again, as I said, is the Sport line. Here the steering wheel also being updated now with hard, not rubber controls anymore for the cruise control. That's also a little bit better, definitely. Zoom more to the screen setup and so on. Seat wise, there are 3 seat forms available: a base seat, also with fabric surfaces, especially in Europe, and then here this one is a sport seat with more accentuated shoulders. For example, it's possible with fabric on the inside and Sensor-Taker leatherette on the outside. This is a very good combination. This one here is the optional animal skin spec. And then there's also a Super Sport seat available, or an M Sport seat. This one has an integrated head restraint. We also see it in the M135i review. That one also with the fabric and microfiber mix available. So they have actually some decent seating choices in stock. So check out the build configurator in your market for that. Now getting inside, of course, should have fairly easy. And yeah, those seats are actually decently comfortable, and with 1.86 or 6'1", putting the seat in the lowest position, you still have decent headroom. There's also a panoramic roof available, not built in this very car here at the moment. And I mean, tall people can get a good position, definitely. Soft touch here also with the top dashboard bike, it's also a nice new detail. Then here, steering wheel is a very good moving mechanism, very smooth process overall. And electric controls here for the seat. Of course, manual would be base. You can here also put the lower area a little bit longer. So can't complain about that here in the front part. It doesn't feel too spacious, because the middle console is also quite huge and so on. So I wouldn't say it's the most suitable car for the tallest driver, but you can still, get a decent seating position. The integrated head restraint seat, the M Sport seats, they were a little bit wider and bigger, so more voluminous. So I think for tall drivers, that one is the seat to go for. Again, you can see it in the other review of the M135i. This will also have an effect on the rear legroom. Soon going to talk about that. This is the car key here, by the way, that you've seen. That one, slim and light. And the basic overview now is really way different than in the predecessor. So first of all, the quality materials. This has really stepped up the game. In metal knurling, volume knob, really cool. The climate unit here is still manual. You can control while driving, just not the AC button. For AC on and off, you have to go to the AC menu and then click it here in the screen. And that's a little bit annoying, I think. Then this new screen, widescreen format, also digital instruments, but that will not be the base setup. The base setup would actually be 5.1 on the left side with analog gauges, and then on the right side 8.8 inch, so a little bit smaller. And this one then 2 times 10.25 inch, the top setup. Again here soft touch everywhere, good materials. Those inserts here can be also bought with different styling, and this one here the rather dark and subtle styling. Horizontal air vents right here. Then the steering wheel, left side for the cruise control. We don't have the adaptive cruise control here, but you can get it as an option. Right side here for the voice input button if you don't say hello BMW, or for the volume control, for example. And also shifting pedals. We have here at this, very nice compact steering wheel. Heated steering wheel is also a very nice option. Zoom more deals to the screens. In the lower area we have an inductive charging pad for your phone. That makes sense because Apple Carplay is wireless here. Then USB charger, USB-A. Cup holders non-adaptive. Then this shifting lever here next to some driving modes, and still not only touch with the screen but also this control knob. We can also write something like in address names if you don't use the voice recognition. And last but not least, this armrest, very well attached. You can open it with some space below, and also a USB-C charger then. So starting that engine, you can see all of the digital instruments. RPM go counterclockwise, and the reason for that is that in the middle part, then you have still space for your GPS info, for example. And you can't change too much around here, but it's actually just useful how they have arranged it. And a nice and useful option is this head-up display with speed, current speed, allowed speed, and you will also get some GPS directions and crystal clear as we know from BMW. Now a close look at the infotainment system. Again, I can control it from below, like this then. So while driving, that's of course a little bit better. Here the visualization is really cool, and the software of the BMW GPS systems, they have led me the best so far. Never had like, wrong turn or something. Really cool. Then also with touch is possible too. Car information, for example, here also with the driving information, journey data. That is even a little bit better than some figures I give later. So this you can also reach 5.4 if you really, really try to drive more economic. So that is where the diesel also plays a nice role here later on. And then you can also connect your phone normal with Bluetooth, but what will also be possible is of course the Apple Carplay. Android Auto is not available for this car here, not for the BMWs in general. And here we have the Apple CarPlay integration, very well done. It goes widescreen over the whole format, and the optional Harman Kardon sound system. Top sound system is available here and has a really decent, very crystal clear sound here for a compact vehicle like that. And for the voice input, you either click here with your thumb at this voice button, or you say, "Hello BMW, drive me to Berlin." You can also set in like another word, for example.
Destination.
So here we go, and that went actually quite quick. And you can also, for example, say like, "Hello Heinz," or "Hello Peter," if you want to give the car a name, or like, a female name, of course, to your car. What about that? Like, "Hello, Stephanie." So you can set it in your infotainment system to whichever activation word you want to have. And not to forget the rear view camera, which has a great resolution, and also those helping lines and so on. But the resolution is actually the one that helps you best. And you can also have the reversing parking assistant, by the way. We showed a sample of that in BMW 7 Series review, for example, where you then go the way back automatically you came in. For example, like in a tricky situation where you say, "Oh, that doesn't fit, I need to go back," and then the car can do that for you. Oh, and a nice detail, by the way, is this frameless rear mirror. Elegant and gives you also a good visibility. So what you will find here in this new generation is that you have about 3 centimeters more legroom, or a little bit more than an inch more legroom, and about 2 centimeters more headroom, a little bit less than an inch more headroom. And this exactly fit. I can put a hand over my head still here, and here also legroom wise, this looked different indeed in the predecessor. So it is suitable for 4 tall adults, even though there's not much spare room left. Here, by the way, with those seats, and this goes the same for the base and for the normal sport seat, you have those gaps here at the knees, and it's a hard pack background that does fit. The more voluminous M Sport seat, it reduces the legroom a little bit on the one hand, but on the other hand, then it has a soft background, so you don't hurt your knees that well when you get next to the back here. So yeah, it's again pro and con. If you're not using those cars with 4 adults frequently, then probably still go for the sport seats. And that, it's not the most comfortable seating position here, but it's still somewhat okay. Isofix at the outside seats each. You do flip the seats already from here. Instead of doors is soft touch. That's, for example, also different than to the new Golf 8. Had it recently here as a, we can say premium competitor, because it's also, is more or less in the equal price span. This one here, of course, a little bit more expensive, but still, Then those nets here, right there, and then there are 2 more USB-C chargers for the rear passengers, if you like those. Most of the stuff you have to pay extra, of course. And then some cup holders right here, and also a ski hatch just to load things through in the middle. So, electric hatch available. It's an option, first time for the 1 Series, and 380 liters that is. So that's 20 liters more than before, up to 1,200 liters. What's interesting here, the lower cover can be flipped like this, and then it's being held up. Yeah, it's nice, and then you have some more storage below that. Pretty interesting. And what else? As for the measurement, right here, 75 centimeters in length, about a meter in width, and the height here when the cover is put to the top one is about 40 centimeters. And I already flipped one of those seats, and to the front seats this is about 1 meters and 50. Of course I can also flip the other side, have to go around for that, and then this is the maximum setup, and that you have some better understanding when you put a cabin trolley inside here about the size. And also we can still put it upright. This does fit. Let's see if we can also close the hatch still. Yeah, that works. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the BMW 1 Series, the 1er BMW, as we say in Germany. And we'll give you some city driving, also some motorway driving and some countryside. So all the different aspects of this vehicle. And first of all, I can tell you already right now, what about petrol versus diesel? Well, we had the petrol as the M135i X-Drive, so with all-wheel drive, and we could score something as low as 7.5, around 8 liters on 100 kilometers, which is about 30 mpg US, 35 mpg UK. It's still quite okay as for this horsepower figure and the all-wheel drive. And here, if you go like motorway and don't drive too fast, you can score something 6 liters on 100 kilometers with the 118D with this diesel here, which is then already something 40 mpg US and a little bit less than 50, like 47 mpg UK. This is actually quite decent. About 2 liters difference here, diesel, petrol, but then again it would be more fair if it would have been like a petrol engine than with front wheel drive only. There's this entry petrol level engine, for example the 3-cylinder. So, and there the difference might be not too big. So the question is really, does the diesel pay off in this size of a vehicle? Yeah, but the main thing about today's drive is, so far, in the 1 Series test vehicle lineup, they had the M135i and exactly this one here, so nothing else. And I want to try this one, first of all, not to have like the top horsepower spec, to present something else than the top horsepower spec. And also, like this here, experience just, how is it with, not the powerful and also with front wheel drive only. So we had the all-wheel drive with the front wheel drive platform, but here really just the front wheel drive only. And yeah, sacrilege for a lot of BMW 1 Series fans, definitely. It is somehow a difference, yes, definitely, predominantly when accelerating out of the corners. That's where the rear wheel drive cars have, a big sporty advantage, just feel nicer. In the overall agile driving feeling, when you're like doing left and right and so on, this is super cool. So already this car here is a lot of fun to drive still, even though it's just front wheel drive only. So in the dynamics, talking about dynamics, this one here is the optional adaptive suspension, about 500 euros extra. So when we play around here with the driving modes, sport, comfort, eco pro, then it also changes. Comfort then again with the comfortable setting, sport gets a little bit stiffer. Sport mode also the gears are turned up higher, and when the traffic light jumps to green now, plop, and that's 56 kilometers already, of course going back to 50. So you see quite quick here. Also with this diesel, the 0 to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour figure is 8.5 seconds, by the way. Here now in the sports mode, maybe you also picked it up on camera, the gears were turned up higher RPMs and so on, later shifting up. And yeah, suspension is also then a little bit stiffer, steering input is a little bit different, and then comfort mode makes it a little bit more comfortable once again. And yeah, this adaptive suspension definitely adds some more comfort. You know, you can go for the base suspension, then you can go with this fixed sport suspension, which is a couple of millimeters lower, and then with the adaptive adaptive suspension, a little bit more sporty setup with the M135i each. But then again, the fixed sport suspension is really rough then, so you should only go for that if you want that, you know, real rough feeling, definitely. So for a compact sized vehicle, I mean, just recently driven also the all-new generation of the Volkswagen Golf, which is also a competitor to this one here. Yeah, they're both front-wheel drive now, so even more direct competitor, so to say. And this one here has already a, you know, quite sporty base setup. That's also what BMW is, so to say, famous for. And again, it's, you know, it's a lot of fun to drive. The Golf is as well, but this one here feels a little bit more agile, a little bit smaller than the Golf, although the exterior dimensions are, you know, not really that different. But this is a thing they could still achieve here. With the differential lock, you might remember the M135i does have a real front differential lock. All others get this technology that was carried over from the BMW i3, and it's, so to say, like an imaginary front-wheel drive differential lock. So, you know, by, you know, the electronics, you fake the you know, effect of that. Maybe you've also felt or seen that here when I was accelerating from the traffic light. When you hit the throttle completely, this car is already powerful enough that, you know, it does something to the steering already with the front wheel drive only. We did not have that with the M135i. We had the extra there, the all-wheel drive, and also the rear differential lock in the front. Here, I mean, the effect is reduced definitely, and I was running just straight, but I felt it on the steering wheel that this one here is a front-wheel driven car. So yes, that is a difference you will have to live with in the new 1 Series, and it did feel better with the previous model as for the sporty sense. However, in most situations where you're not hitting the throttle completely, especially not from standstill, you won't feel such a difference because, again, the chassis itself and how agile the car is, this is really cool. It's a lot of fun, feels very sporty, and when you're just half throttle or something, then you also don't feel that you would be losing traction in the front, or that it would have had an effect on the steering or something, you know. Then again, the adaptive suspension here, I wouldn't say it's rough, but you definitely feel it's, let's so to say, crisp. So again, they stress this sporty character of the already, you know, of one of the base vehicles. Yeah, sadly, price-wise, this is also something to talk about. You know, when we think about 28k euros in Germany entry price, and then about 50 for the M135i. But then, when you spec this one here, it's just in 118D. 53,000 for a proper spec one. What the hell? I mean, 53,000 euros for a compact size vehicle? Why? You can get an X3 for that, you know? Yeah. So that's definitely to criticize. Then again, what you get for that is definitely very refined. I mean, also with the new infotainment system here, so it's a very cool and refined ride, definitely. Also very silent. We'll now get onto the motorway, see how that one plays out. I'll also put it to sports mode once again. So it feels quite elaborated for a compact vehicle, that's, you know, no doubt. Yeah. I mean, what I've done here now, in the corner and then accelerating, it feels different with the rear-wheel driven car than with the front-wheel driven car. Sorry to say that, really. Now, 60 kilometers to 100. Plop, that's it. So see, you won't lack any power with this engine. This is actually, let's say, right-sized for this car. This 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel. Not sure about the 1.5 3-cylinders. Can't comment on that yet. And also the automatic gearbox is doing a great job. So really, really nice done. The 8-speed converter or auto gearbox. supplied by ASIN, and the 7-speed, whoa, that's a lot of sun, so I have to use the shade if I'm on. So, and the 7-speed DCT, which is built for the smaller ones, for the 3 cylinders each. That one is not from ASIN, this is supplied by Magna. So, let's see now at 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, it's perfectly silent. So, yeah, very good noise insulation. That's also something that has been improved. Then we also have the cruise control. You can set it here on the steering wheel. And really very stably also when I'm doing lane change and about 100. That's pretty cool. And wow, the car feels very agile. The steering feeling is also good. Not too much of a dead zone or something. It doesn't feel too natural, let's say it that way. Yeah, a little bit artificial, so to say, but still, you know, fun and somewhat precise. What's going on here? So I accelerate just a little bit that we get in front of this car. And wow, yeah, that's a lot of fun, you know, doing the lane changes here at some speed. And yeah, it's a really cool, very well balanced vehicle. That's probably the thing I like most. Also good view to the head-up display. I can also check my speed. So yes, front-wheel drive only has an effect. So this, you know, if you had a lot of fun with a rear-wheel driven predecessor and think, you know, yeah, I want to have the new generation, like, oh, nicely done here in this roundabout, by the way. Oh, a little bit of squeaking tires. I mean, but that again shows. Just move the key here. Doesn't fly around. So that again shows what the car is capable of, and you know what you want, you know, from the car. Probably wouldn't do it in the Golf. Whoa, a little bit slick here as well. Yeah, those winter tires are also not hooking up that well as the summer tires, definitely. But again, a lot of fun to drive with this car, although it's front-wheel drive only. But you do realize it when accelerating out. So if this sporty accelerating out feeling is very important to you and you go for this new generation, then you should probably end up with an all-wheel drive model. But that we have already experienced, when you have one of the all-wheel drive models, takes away, let's say, power from the front wheels to the rear wheels, and then you have more balanced feeling. You don't have this strong front wheel drive bias. And I mean, then if you have the M135i with the front differential lock, so I did, you know, I was really different than with this top sports model there. That really didn't make you miss the rear wheel drive. Now driving it really front wheel drive only, it does miss you, you know, make you miss the rear wheel drive somehow, because there was also something special here with the 1 Series that you could get some of the low horsepower specs and still, you know, have a really fun and sporty vehicle. And now it's rather the case when you go for one of the high sports spec and so on, and yeah, what about that? But still, you know, we have to discuss that, no doubt about that. But it's also the case that it's still a fun and agile car, and like chassis-wise and driving dynamics-wise, they're really on the top of the game. And also, if you look at different competitors in this segment here, this is still somewhat among the most fun to drive, just from, you know, the pure characteristics. So let's see again the steering. It doesn't feel too light here, and also some commands being transported. I like it more than with the 3 Series, which is at the moment I think the worst steering feeling in the BMW lineup with the 3 Series. Sadly, it should be the best one, should be. And then when you go a little bit further, it's an even better feeling then, I think. Definitely good to control. And well, what about the overview? It's good to the rear, especially now in this hatch style. Also to the sides, it's quite good. Yeah, the B-pillar, I mean, it's always good to have the blind spot monitor, which is also built in here. This triangle that flashes then in the side mirrors, definitely going forward too good to do that. So that's one of the things you should actually always pick and always have. Definitely very, very important. And you know, enjoying this new infotainment stuff. This is also a part of this vehicle, and You can use the voice commands while driving, set a new destination just by voice, or I'm cold. I'm not, but
Oh, I am raising the temperature and activating your seat heating, so it will be warmer shortly.
oh, thank you. So seat heating was activated and also temperature was increased. So that's pretty helpful. Again, really cool to use the voice control right here. So much things you can do while driving. And that's also something I've been using quite a lot with all the new BMWs and so on. So now some, a little bit outside the city, and again, pretty relaxed ride. The sport seats were actually a little bit cooler, I think. Not only visual, but also in the long-term comfort. Those are also doing quite good as for the seat form here. But again, those, I have to say again, normal seat, sport seat, let's call it super sport seats. So the super sport seat with the integrated head restraint. That one, whoa, what's coming out? Smoke of that X-Trail. That's an old X-Trail diesel. No, not too good. So those super sport seats, they were really very comfortable, look good, and also, for taller people, they made a better impression somehow. But again, those seats here are already pretty good. So yeah, also in long term, it's no problem. But then again, of course, if you think about a compact SUV or a mid-sized car, this is still better, for longer hauls than just with compact cars here. I mean, these if you're the same size. But for a compact vehicle, still a decent comfort, both suspension, noise insulation, and also seating wise. So besides this, let's say, base discussion of front wheel drive, wow, there's really a lot of smoke there. Can't imagine. Wow, that one is smoke. Maybe sucking some water even already. I don't know, but that doesn't look good. That even gets through those filters a little bit as well. But the German premium manufacturers' filters are usually very good, so you don't hardly smell what's on the outside. But in this case, well, yeah. And we're talking about reducing emissions and stuff. But definitely a fun ride here with the BMW 1 Series has been very interesting once again. And I would only invite you also to tune in again to our M135i review. It is linked in the video description and also in the pinned comment. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new BMW 1 Series. Well, as for the exterior, I was splitting a little bit in love or hate. I think actually, it's quite nicely designed for a compact hatch, but there was also a lot of criticism, especially with this, huge front grille. And yes, of course, proportion-wise, the front hood is not that long anymore. That is maybe a negative point with design, but then again, it's positive with the rear legroom, for example. That was also one of the reasons why they moved it to the front-wheel-driven platform, because you can use the space a little bit better then. Yes, driving-wise, the rear-wheel drive does miss, especially if you have a front-wheel-driven only model. If you have one of the all-wheel drive models, yeah, it doesn't make such a big difference, because you have a lot of torque on the rear wheels and so on, especially in the strong M135i model. You don't lack any power or fun or so. Yeah, power itself, that's also here enough even with the 118D, but it is definitely a characteristic change if you don't have the rear wheel drive and you have the front wheel drive only here. Yes, it's somehow less fun as for accelerating out. However, chassis wise, suspension wise and so on, the normal agile driving feeling is superb. Maybe even a little bit better than with the previous generation, because they have worked on that, of course, suspension setup, and also with the chassis a little bit stiffer than before. So that one is very well done. So it is still very agile to drive this car and is one of the sportiest and most fun in this compact hatch segment. That's still the case. And of course, a big difference in the interior, way better as for the quality of materials. Big step forward if you compare to the predecessor, and also this top new infotainment system, if you go for that option, offers you more choices, natural voice input and so on. And then of course more space in the interior. That's also one of the pro points. Yet again, pricing is a little bit ridiculous, 28 to 50k. Think about entry model or one M135i, but even this model here can be brought, as I just said in the driving part, to about 53,000 euros in Germany, as an example, when you pick all the extras inside, already the automatic gearbox is more than 2,000 euros extra and so on. So yeah, that's, you know, gets a little heavy on your pocket. So if you think about that and maybe see if you can get a better price performance deal, maybe with one of those 1.5 liter 3-cylinders even. Let's see and test that one at a later stage. So please, now your feedback to this new 1 Series today here, and also tune in to the M135R review. See you there, or also at one of our new reviews. See ya, bye.